welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we are going to work on Candy Girl. This is such a fun tune, and as you can see, we are in a little bit of a different tuning. Don't panic. I know this is beginner course, but we're going to do this today. If you don't want to cross tune, you don't have to. You can just do the top two strings, and you can save the bottom two strings for later, for whenever you're ready to dive into cross tuning. So what I've done is my fiddle is tuned to A, E, A, E. So instead of G, D, A, E, I have the two bottom strings, the G and the D string, moved up to A and E. Now, again, if this is not something you want to do today, you don't have to, but I'm going to show you how to do it really quickly. So all you have to do is, and my fiddle is going to be very angry at me for doing all this back and forth, but I'm going to take my strings back down to where they were, roughly. And then I'm going to put my tuner on so we can make sure this is all nice and happy. So what you're going to do is you're going to go from your G, and you're just going to take this up to an A. So we're going to try to get up to A, roughly. We'll get that dialed in with the tuner. And then you're going to go down from your E, E, E. So you hear the D here. And I, like I said in the tuning video, if you watch that tuning video earlier in this course, it's helpful to sing the note that you're going up to, so you can know where it's going. You can also play it on the piano, or you can play it on another instrument, or if you have something that can play that actual note, it's really helpful to hear the difference in the intervals. So you have our reference E, here's low, and I have to get up to E, E. So if you can do it that way, it actually helps you with the whole process of tuning it. You can kind of learn to hear multiple notes at the same time, and it's just my little trick that I like to do. I like to sing that note and then get up to it, and then, so this is kind of close, but I'll dial it in with the tuner here. I'll show you how to do that. So when it comes to cross tuning, just go slow. Like I just did it very quickly because I've been tuning my fiddle for 30 plus years. So it's very easy for me, but if this takes you a really long time, then that's okay. Go slow, because there's always the fear that your fiddle is going to explode, which is not an irrational fear. Your bridge could fall over, all kinds of stuff could happen. So I like to encourage people to just dive right in and try things, and not worry too much. Just go slow and try to figure it out. And if you know where you're going, then you know how to get there. So that is how we get up to here, and then we'll dial it in with this tuner that I have here. I have this is a D'Addario tuner, but you can use a snark, or on your phone, which my phone is the camera today, so you can use Clear Tune, any kind of app. So I'm going to get my A going here, and my E. So I'm gonna tune these roughly exactly where they're supposed to be by the tuner's standards, and then I'm gonna talk about how to get it even more happy. So I'm gonna tune my E here, which was my D string, now is my low E string. Now see, so this will happen every once in a while. So my fine tuner is all the way down to the bottom, so I actually have to wind this out. It's a little trick. You do have to adjust that every once in a while. So now I have plenty of space on my D, now E string, to come up to where the tuner says that. And you can hear the E string, the top E string ringing. Can you hear that? So that means we're almost in business. So now I'm going to do my low A, and my low A is having the same problem. But it's kind of good that you're seeing this process here. So I'm just winding down, winding this so I have plenty of space. And now I have to take this up with the big tuners. There we go. So now, tuner. Okay, so now we are roughly where the tuner wants us to be. There we go. So getting some good resonance going there, but I'm going to show you how to get all of the resonance that's possible here. So I'm hearing some nice ring. All the strings are ringing there, but I'm going to make sure that they get really dialed in. So I'm going to go from the A string and play my top E string. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to massage my E string up a little higher because the perfect intervals are a little wider than what the tuner wants it to be. The tuner is tuning these intervals to perfect intervals, like on the piano. That is equal temperament. If you know anything about the change from, you know, the old school overtone series based tuning, the perfect intervals to the equal tempered intervals. This happened back in the 17th century, and so yeah. So there's a difference between the natural perfect intervals and what the tuner says. So what you want to do is just make your intervals a little wider. And again, if this is too technical, I'm totally nerding out here, so you don't have to worry about this too much. It's just good to know. So from your A, you know, that's good. If you're there, then you're in a good spot. I'm just going to massage my E string up a little sharper. Ah, can you hear that? So now I'm really getting all of those overtones, those natural overtones ringing. So now I'm going to take my bottom E string a little bit lower. Again, the intervals are a little bit wider. And I'm just moving my fine tuner a tiny hair. Yeah, that sounded great. And now I'm going to bring this a little bit lower as well. Oh, yeah. Oh, now we're in business. Yeah, so that's sounding nice and sparkly. So let's get into this tune. This tune is really simple. And again, we're going to start off with just the top two strings. So if you're staying on the top two strings, then you don't have to worry about anything else. And if you're going to do the bottom two strings, it's going to be very, very easy. So this is just going to be really fun. So if you have your fiddle in this nice open tuning now, we have A, E, A, E. And so we'll start off with the first note of the first phrase of the tune. That is the entire A part, nice and easy. So this is going to go really quick. It'll be very satisfying. So we are going to play the two top strings at the same time. So let's just practice that pulse. And I have a whole video on how to practice the pulse in the technique section. So you can check that out, the pulsing bow. So this is just, I'm going down, and then I'm just going to push to get a second articulation there, like soft articulation. Push, change, push, change, push. There we go. So you can also just take your index finger and give it a little push there, if that's how you want to do it. Some people like to use their wrist. There's all kinds of different ways to do it. I tend to use my index finger. So I'm going to put my high 2 or my C sharp on my A string and leave my E string open. So have 2 pulsing bows there. Down, up. So that is just those same 2 notes again, the C sharp and the E. So that's down, up, up. And I'm kind of making sure to get that open E by itself for a second there. See, I'm kind of doing that, but it's a little bit messy. All right, so we have the first phrase here. That's all it is. And then the next phrase is. So that is an F sharp or a first finger on your E string, going back down to the second finger on the A string or your C sharp there. And then open E, back to the C sharp. And then just B, A, or 1 A. That's literally it. So down, up, down, up, down, up. And if you want to do the 2 strings at the same time, you can make that messy. And just do them both at the same time if you want to. You want to have a little bit of the distinction of the melody notes in there. So you want to kind of keep a little bit of an eye on where the notes are so you're not being too blocky with the bowing. But again, I would just relax and let it happen because it will. So that is the entire A part right there. Nice and chill. So the first phrase is. Second phrase. There we go. So now I'm going to play the basic bare bones minimum. I know some people have a tough time hearing the difference between the notes. So if I'm gonna play just the basic actual melody, it's gonna sound like this. Right? But you wouldn't play it like that. So I tend to avoid spending too much time on that bare bones stuff when you have a tune like this, because you're definitely not ever going to play it like that. We're going to play both strings at the same time, right at beginner level. So I was doing down, up, down, up. You can also just keep pulsing. So I'll do it the 2 ways. So here's with the 2 pulses both times. And here it is with the second time broken up. So you can do it like, you can do it however you want, and I would encourage you to do it both ways because you want some variation. So let's go nice and slow and do this whole thing twice. we go. So that is the whole A part. That is all it is. Might want to check your tuning. There we go. Just to make sure we're still in there. So here is the B part. Really nice and easy. So we're going to start off with a high A on your E string here and an open A. So we're going to go down, up, just like we did before. Try that again. And see how I'm trying to separate out that A string just a little bit there for a second. Accidentally reaching down. It's okay if you hit the bottom string. So one thing that's so great about cross tuning is you can hit all the strings. It doesn't matter. So you actually get a break from having to worry about which strings you're on to you know, you don't have to be kind of white knuckling. What string am I on right now? It doesn't matter. You can just hit them all. It's all good. Second phrase. So that's just open E down to the A, and then your C sharp, second finger on your 8th string, and then B, C sharp, 2, 1, 2, 2. So E, A, C sharp, A, B, C sharp, So that bowing is down, up, down, up, down, up. There we go. So together with the first phrase, it sounds like. So let's try that slower. That's it. Nice and easy. And the next phrase after that is even easier. You already know all of it except for one note. So instead of doing 2 C sharps, you're going to go C sharp, A, open A. So you just lift off that finger. And the same bowing pattern, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so let's try that second phrase. All right, so let's try them both together because it's very easy. It'll just make a lot of sense when it's all together. And that is the entire B part. There you go. Nice and easy. So yeah, so if you were freaked out about the cross tuning, at least this tune is just probably the simplest tune that we have in this whole course, actually. But it's nice because when you're just want to enjoy all the resonant sympathetic tuning, you know, all the overtones that we have here. It's kind of nice to just relax into a nice easy tune. So now we have the C part, which is even easier than that. This is like not even really a part. It's just very, very easygoing. Now, I'm sure most of you are going to say, I can play that right now. I don't really need to be taken through it, actually. But let's go through it a little bit. So we have our pulses in the beginning, just open A and high A. And then we have that phrase again with the second ending there. Right, that's it. So let's do the whole thing 4 times. So there we are. We have the whole tune. Let's play the whole tune. So we have... And then... And then the C part. So we'll do each part 4 times. So this tune is nice and trancy. You can just kind of relax into it. So we'll do 2, 3, 4. So that's it. That is the tune. So a lot of people play this tune kind of in a mixed up order. You could play A, B, and then C for an extra long time. I've heard people play this in a variety of ways. And this tune is so trancy that it's fun to kind of get lost and play just whatever. You know, it's kind of one of those tunes that you could actually mix up the parts and make a really nice arrangement. So feel free to do that. And so let's talk about the bottom octave here, which this is going to be so much fun because we are just going to take that whole tune that we just played and just do it on the bottom octave. So let's try that. So you're going to go down to your 2 bottom strings. Sorry, I have a little hair sticking out here. Let's just tuck that. Get that out of the way. So you have an A and an E on the bottom there. So we're just going to treat them the same. So we're just going to play the tune, the whole tune that we just played down on the bottom octave here. So that is the whole tune down an octave. So what is really fun to do is to play the tune up here. And then when you play the second time through, so like I did in the beginning, where I played the tune up an octave, up on the top octave, and then went down and played the second time through on the bottom octave, but I skipped up to the top at the end, which is a very common thing to do. And the reason I love this so much is it's actually something that used to happen in Scottish music all the time. I know this is an old time tune, but there's a lot of Scottish and Irish music roots. And actually, this whole tradition of playing in this tuning, which in Scottish music is called high bass tuning. This is actually something that people used to do all the time, and they used to play with the pipes all the time. And so they would play all kinds of tunes up on this top octave, and then they would have the bottom octave, because the pipes are only in one octave. The pipes are only... That's where the pipes live. So if you tuned your bottom strings down up to an A like that, then you would be able to play all of the tunes down that octave to give some extra space and some arrangement. Plus it makes your fiddle sound louder, which in the days before sound systems and stuff, if you were playing a dance back in the day and you were playing with a piper, then you would need to do some kind of cross-tuning thing to get some volume, because you were not only having to compete with a set of bagpipes next to you, which wouldn't have been the big loud Highland pipes, they would have been the parlor version, but still they're decently loud. And so competing with that, and plus all the people dancing on the floor. So you had to do something to make the fiddle louder. So cross-tuning was actually something that was a bit of a carryover from like the old fiddles that people used to play. People used to play more chordal music. And so, you know, this is just is a very utilitarian thing to do. So let's do both octaves, and we'll skip up at the top again. So a little faster. So that's that. So if you want to take this up to the next level, then I would say going faster is a great thing to do. But also there were some subtle little chirpy things that I did in there that you might be wondering what the heck is going on. So that's a sneaky one. So that is one of those very subtle little, it's actually technically a little warble. I'm just pulling off my third finger to my second finger there. So I'm getting an A to a G sharp. And it's just adding a little, it almost sounds like the bagpipes a little bit, which is another reason why I love this tune. It's wild and pipey sounding. So that's something to do. And you can do it on your second finger there at the very beginning. That little kind of, it's just a little chirp. It's not even really a warble. It's just this kind of little chirpy sound. Oh, and then that little slide. So that's just, I'm just doing a little, as if I've showed you those before, doing just a little run with the fingers to kind of give it just a little pop of something in there. So I'm just taking my C sharp and then just running it over the C natural a little. And it just kind of gives it a little bluesy flavor. It's just very quick. And so I think that, so what happens in the B part? Yeah, I'm kind of doing a little G sharp to A thing. Other than that, I'm just trying to go fast. So that's some more sparkle you can add. So I hope you enjoyed Candy Girl, and it's a sweet tune. What can we say? So I hope you enjoyed this tune, and I will see you in the next video.